Am I the jerk for telling my parents that I am not their son and they need to let go? My parents had 4 kids before me. My older brother and 3 older sisters. My older brother died when he was 14, before I was born. His death was what sparked my parents to have me. They were lost to grief and tried to rebirth him through me, aka had another kid and wanted to make the baby into my brother. My sisters were all old enough to remember our brother, to know what our parents were doing, and they didn't like it. I looked so much like him except for our eyes. He had brown eyes while I had blue eyes. That's the only noticeable difference, but it brought out the worst in my parents even more. There were times they were very loving and all about me. But once the illusion that I was my brother was shattered, they were distant and cold. My sisters were just cold. They told me I would never be their brother. I wasn't the brother they lost. Even though I already knew that and never thought I was him, there was a lot of anger, resentment, and rage aimed at me because they hated that our parents tried to replace him. Questions were asked at school about my name, the way I dressed, and the way my hair was done. My parents named me after him. They put me in his old clothes and made me keep my hair a certain length until I was 13, and I shave it all off to try and become me, not him. My sisters were all moved out at that point and only came to visit our parents. My parents never acknowledged the resentment or the rejection of my sisters towards me. Whenever I tried to mention it, they would shut down because that was so unlike my brother. I had educational neglect too. I have 2 learning disabilities, but my brother never had any, so I wasn't allowed to and I never got very far in school. I had to keep friends away from my house too, because it was too much to explain. When I was younger, birthday parties were a big issue because of my parents' obvious grief and poor mental health. It would be awkward around the parents and adults present. It left me answering a lot of questions. There were times my parents were faced with being told I wasn't my brother and I was their youngest son, but we left the lives of anyone who tried. It was mostly their friends I remember and never extended family. I don't even know if there's extended family or if they came from big or small families. The last few years I lived at home with a worse for them flip-flopping. They could go months of thinking I was him and then months of ignoring me and shutting me out. During lockdown, it was particularly bad. When I turned 18, my girlfriend's parents let me move in, and that's where I've been ever since. I didn't speak to my parents for over a year. I did reach out to my sisters, and they made it clear that where they stood was not wanting me in their lives and not seeing me as their brother. That's something I'm still working on making peace with. As much as it might hurt, I don't blame them. I'm not even sure if I blame my parents, but a part of me does. My parents left a long cycle of wanting nothing to do with me and reached out a bunch of times wanting me to come home and asking why I left without saying anything and saying that they need their son back. Instead of talking over the phone or texting them back, I want to see them, and I told them face to face that I am not their son. I'm not the kid they keep trying to make me. I can never be him. I don't think a relationship between us would ever be healthy. They need to let go and accept I'm not their son. The reason I said it like that is because they never saw me as me, only him. I had to leave right after saying it because they were both in the middle of a meltdown. A few days later, I got a message from one of my sisters congratulating me on screwing up her parents even more.